All right, fantastic. All right, guys, like I said, welcome to today's session. Our focus today is going to be workflows, right? Now, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to share my Velocity screen with you quickly so that everybody can actually go ahead and follow along with what it is that I am explaining and training on today. The very first thing that I want to start off with, guys, I just want to let you guys know that workflows is a component of our CRM, right? Now, it's important to know that our CRM has two components to it, one being the active CRM component and the other being the passive CRM component, right? Now, when we speak about our active CRM, this is when you want to have a hands-on approach to the message that you are sending out to your client. All right. Now, this could be an email, a text message, a phone call, whatever the communication method is, you want to keep your hands on it. And the reason for that is some of that information that you are sending out to the client could change with time. So what you're going to have is a basic outline or template, right? Of what you want to send out to say to the client, but certain info can change with time within that particular message. Right now, a typical example of this would be rates. Obviously, rates change with time, and you want to communicate this with your client, and but you also want to have a set or standard template for this, right? But you want to be capable of altering that communication before sending it out. Then we've got, that's our active component. Then we've got our passive component, our passive CRM. And this is when we set something up one time and it goes out as you set it, right? With this, you don't want to keep your hand on it. You have a set template and it will go out as previously set to your clients, right? A typical example of this would be a birthday card. You want to set this up once and you want to have it sent out to your clients on their set birthdays, but you don't necessarily in the moment want to personalize it for every single client that you are sending it out to. All right. Now, like I said, today's focus is going to be workflows. And when we speak about workflows, we are looking at that active component of CRM, which is creating a message which you want to keep your hand actively on. Right. Now, what I want to do. So what I want to do first is I'm going to show you guys where we manage our workflows. I'll show you where we manage our workflows. Then I'll show you guys how you actually physically set up those workflows. Now, starting with where we manage our workflows within our My Day component in Velocity. Now, where do I find this My Day component in Velocity? If you guys can see my Velocity shared screen here, in our black bar on the left-hand side over here, right below contacts, you'll see you've got that My Day option right there. Now, when I go ahead and I click on my My Day option, what will happen is it's going to actually open up your calendar for your workflow tasks for the particular day, right? You'll see you've got today's date over there, and you'll see that I've got two separate workflow. Well, I've got 4 workflows set up for myself over here, but we've got one for a phone call and the other 3 are for emails. All right. So what you're going to see and just to make it clear, this is where you manage your workflows. This is not where you set them up. Okay. Now, this is where you will see your workflow tasks that you have previously set up for yourself. And basically, the My Day calendar is what pokes you and tells you the triggers have been hit. And these messages now need to be authorized and sent out to the client. Right now, what you will see over here, if I look at the our email option at the bottom over there, you'll see that you have your title of your workflow right there, the deal that it's associated to, what status that deal is in, who the recipients are that it's going to be sent out to, the email address or addresses associated to that workflow. Then you've got the ability to view your message over here. So if I click on view, it will show me exactly what I have set up for myself over there previously, who the recipients are that are going to be receiving it as well. And then we have right next to view, we have these 2 tabs, the green one being sent and the blue one being our actions tab. Now, obviously, if we're happy and we don't need to edit anything within that workflow, we can just hit that send option and we'll pop that workflow over or that message or communication over to the client. Right next to that green send tab, you've got this blue actions tab. And when I click on the actions tab, you'll see it's got 4 options listed underneath it, one being our edit option. We've got postpone, reassign, and remove right there. Now, obviously, to edit, if we go ahead and click on that, it will open up this window where we can now go ahead and edit whatever message we have previously set up for ourselves over here. right? I also have the ability to add additional recipients there if I wish to do that as well. And I can also add any additional attachments if I wish to do so as well. All right. Right below our edit option, we've got that postpone option over there. So if I do not want to send this message out to my client today, I can hit postpone and I can actually put in a future date for this workflow to then be triggered again within my day calendar. It's also important while I'm on that to remember that once you set up workflows for yourself, all right, it's important to check your My Day calendar on a daily basis. And the reason for that is these workflows that I've triggered today within my calendar will not be shifted to future dates. So it won't be shifted to tomorrow, the 17th of May, because I didn't authorize it today. It will only be displayed on the day that it had been triggered, right? So important to check your My Day calendar on a daily basis to make sure you're not missing any workflows that you have set up for yourself, all right? Right underneath postpone, you have reassign. So if I want to go ahead and reassign this workflow to maybe a specific user, an associate, or an assistant that I have linked to my account, I can do that from my reassign option right here. All right. And then we'll populate within the My Day calendar. And then obviously, lastly, we've got remove. If I no longer need to send this out, I can just go ahead and remove that from my My Day calendar. Right? And that is essentially how we manage our workflows within our My Day component of Velocity, once again, which you find in the black bar underneath contacts right there. All right. Now that we've looked at how to manage our workflows, let's look at how you're going to go about actually making them or setting them up. And I'll do that by starting from our homepage again, just to start fresh. And from my homepage, in order to set up my workflows, all I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll to the top right over here, hit me, and your fourth option under me, you'll see it will be your workflows option, right? So you're going to go ahead and hit that workflows option right there. And this will open up my workflow screen, which you obviously see over here. It's just going to take a few seconds to load. Just wait for it to load quickly. Okay, bear in mind also, while we're waiting for it to load, your workflow screen will look a lot different to mine. Obviously, I've already set up headings or stages and workflows for myself previously, and that is obviously displayed here in front of you. If you've not done any of this yet, yours might be completely blank, or you may just have a couple of stage names displayed right here. Okay, but not to worry, I'm going to show you exactly how to set them up. First of all, creating the stage names and then also creating the workflows. And the first thing that you want to go ahead and do is you will go ahead and utilize these two buttons that are displayed on the top right over here, add stage and add workflow, right? The first thing we're going to do is create these little headings that you see displayed over here. So I've got this approved, annual check-ins, leads, the list really goes on at the bottom. And then I've got the workflows, specific workflows underneath those titles. These workflows that are underneath these titles are obviously associated to those headings that I've set up for myself. Now, in order to create a heading or a stage, all you need to do is click on Add Stage. Right? Once I've clicked on Add Stage, we'll open up this window that you see in front of you right now, and I can go ahead and create a stage name or stage names for myself. So bear in mind, you can name this whatever you want to, right? I'm going to I'm going to create a workflow associated to a closing date. So I'm just going to go ahead and create a stage name associated to that. So I'll maybe just go ahead and say closing date, and I'll maybe just put today's date over there so I know which one I'm dealing with. It's the 16th today. There we go. And once I've named it, all I need to do is hit add. And once I've hit add, you'll see if I scroll down, that stage that I just created will be displayed right there. As you can see, closing date with today's date that I just did a few seconds ago. Right. Now that you've created your stages, obviously that's how you create your stages. So you're going to go ahead and create those. And once you've created your stages, now you can go ahead and actually create workflows to be placed underneath those stages, right? And in order to do that, all we need to do is hit the Add Workflow tab, this green one, the second green one right here. When I hit the Add Workflow tab, what happens is it pops open this little window over here, and now I'm going to create that workflow that I want placed underneath that stage I just created. So just as an example for today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a workflow that basically sends out a check-in message to my clients X number of days after the closing date has hit. So let's say 20 days after the closing date has hit, I want to check in with each and every one of my clients. How am I going to remember to actually send out the message exactly 20 days after each and every client's closing date has been reached? Simple. I create a workflow that will basically poke me and tell me it's time to send out this message, right? So I'll go ahead and do exactly that. So first things first, from this window right here, we're going to go ahead and say which stage we want this to be assigned to or placed under. And I'm going to put it under that closing date stage that I just created there, right? Second thing, I'm going to go ahead and select the trigger. Now, obviously, this is related to my closing date, being that I'm going to go ahead and say 20 days after closing date. So I'll go ahead and look for closing date right there, select closing date, right? And then like I said, 20 days after closing, I would like this message to populate within my MyDay calendar and remind me to send out the message. So I'll go ahead and put 20 right there, and you'll see it says 20 after trigger, right? So 20 days after trigger. If I click on that, you can also set 20 days before. You can also set before trigger as well. In this case, obviously, I want it to be after trigger. And then I'll select the time of day that I want that to populate within my calendar. So I'll just go ahead and say maybe at 9 a.m. First thing in the morning, I want that displayed in my MyDay calendar when I check it, right? Then we're going to go ahead and choose our application type. You can go obviously approval or pre-approval. I'll just leave it at all in this case. And then application purpose, you can go ahead and select any appropriate application purposes right there. I'll leave it at any. And then our action is going to be whether it's going to be a phone call, email, or whether it's going to be an SMS that you're sending out. I'll go ahead and do an email workflow for this particular situation. And then we're going to go ahead and assign it. So is it going to be assigned to you specifically? Then you'll just go ahead and say agent, right? Or if you want this actually assigned to an assistant, you have the ability to do that from here as well, or any other specific user associated to your account. In this case, I'll just do it as agent because I want that populated in my personal MyDay account, right? And then we've got our title of here. So that's the subject line of the email that's going to be sent out. So I'll maybe just go ahead and say just checking in. Right. And then I have the ability now to go ahead and type that message, that templated message for myself right here within the body of the email. So I can go ahead and say, good day. And also bear in mind, you have the ability to use these insert templates over here or merge tags. If I click on that, you can see I can add the recipient's first name over there, add the recipient's last name if I wish to do that as well. So that information will just be drawn from the actual deal information of that client or contact information of the client that this is being sent off to, right? Then I'm going to go ahead and just say maybe just checking in. With you, right? Whatever you want to go ahead and say in your message over there. Also, we do have additional merge tags that you can utilize. You can go ahead and run through that when you are setting these up. But we've got merge tags associated to obviously you as the agent. We can merge in your name, last name, email address, anything on your profile page pretty much. And then also if I scroll down, you'll see that you have got merge tags associated to the subject property address, purchase price, down payment, etc. All those things can be merged in and just drawn from the deal information itself. Once you have set that up and you have actually gone ahead and you're happy with what you've typed as a template for your email to be sent out, you also have the ability to add an attachment right here, right? Once we've done with all of that, we can go ahead and activate our workflow right here at the bottom. We can activate it by just hitting this toggle to activate it, or we can leave it as inactive if we choose to do that. Right. Once that is done, we'll just hit add, and there we go. Our workflow will now be added to that title that I created earlier, and we'll just give it a moment, and I'll show you guys that will then be displayed underneath our closing date with today's date associated to it. While that is loading, I also just want to show you guys right next to our two green tabs over here, you've got the show option over here, and you've got, right now it's set on active, but if I click on that down arrow over there, you'll see that you can display your active, inactive, or all workflows, right? Just remember when you set this up and you may be activating your workflows, make sure that you are having make sure you have active workflows displayed and not inactive workflows displayed. I've had that many times where brokers reach out to me and say they've set up workflows and activated it, but it's not displayed within their workflows page because they have inactive workflows shown right there. Okay, right there, it's gone ahead and loaded for us. Now, if I scroll down, you will see that that workflow that I just created now will be displayed right there below today's date. Right there. Checking in workflow, obviously my title, who it's assigned to, what the trigger is, what the action is, the status, and who it was created by. And that's pretty much how we go ahead and set up and create workflows from start to finish. Again, guys, any workflow I've set up for myself over here, I need to manage within my day component, which I showed you first. All right, make sure we are checking our My Day components of Velocity every day to make sure we're not missing any triggers that have been hit with regard to our workflows. And that's that. That would be the end of my workflow session today.